Hey everyone, welcome to Pai's Kitchen. Today I am finally making a much requested recipe, Chinese barbecue pork or Char Siu. Now even though this is a Chinese recipe, it's available all over Asia, including Thailand. It's actually pretty straightforward to make at home, but growing up I never thought about making it myself because it's so available. You can go and buy it just about anywhere. But making it at home is always better, right? So this pork is actually very versatile. You can put it on rice, on noodles, you can stuff it in a bun. Today I'm just gonna show you the pork itself, and in the future I'll show you what other dishes you can turn this pork into. Let's get started. So you might have noticed that Chinese barbecue pork typically has a red tint to it. Sometimes it's really red, like if it's in Thailand. In that case, it's probably food coloring, but sometimes it's just subtle red. And in that case, it might be something more natural, like what I am using, and that is red bean curd. So this is fermented bean curd, and the red color comes from a specific kind of fungus that they use to ferment it. It's got a salty flavor, but also rich umami flavor to it. It comes in a glass jar like this, and I also have a couple other recipes that use it. If you wonder, okay, if I get this, what else am I gonna do with it? I have other ideas. I will link to them in the description below. I'm gonna just add this and some of the juice, and I'm just gonna mash it. Yes, looks very appetizing right now. Just wait. The rest of the ingredients go in. So I've got some hoisin sauce. It's like a Chinese barbecue sauce. It's sweet, it's rich, thick. Some soy sauce, and I'm using a Japanese soy sauce for this just because it's a little darker, more intense than Thai soy sauce. Of course, you should use Chinese soy sauce if you have it. I just don't happen to have it. What else do I have? I've got some Chinese cooking wine, which is optional. You don't have to add it, but if you have it, a little bit of sesame oil. Optional, but I do like that flavor. Some honey. So Char Siu is supposed to be sort of salty sweet. The sweet note is quite prominent. A couple of dry spices. This is the most important part. Chinese 5-spice powder. Now you can buy this, or I also have a recipe of how you can make it at home as well. It's just a mixture of different spices. Really easy. This is the key flavor right here, so do not leave that out. And I'm just gonna add some white pepper just for a little heat. And that's it. Oh, garlic. Almost forgot garlic. So I'm just gonna grate my garlic. You can use garlic powder too if you want. Don't grate your fingers. And with a mini whisk, we are going to mix it all together. And that is it. That's the marinade. Really straightforward, right? Now the other important ingredient is the pork. So for this recipe, I am using pork shoulder. Now when you see Char Siu at like a Chinese barbecue place, it's usually very long, and you can try to find pork shoulder that long, but I'm not making very much. So I just get a shorter piece of pork shoulder roast, and then I cut it with the grain into thin strips like this. And you'll get shorter strips, but that's okay. It's more manageable. Pork shoulder is a flavorful, fatty cut. If you want something leaner, you can go with tenderloin or pork loin, but it's also going to be less flavorful and drier. So the choice is yours. And if you end up with like little end pieces that are not nice pieces, like you're cooking it at home, don't worry about it, right? And this needs one whole day. Like this needs 24 hours. This is not something you want to rush. Trust me, I have rushed it. It is not worth it. Make sure everybody is nice and coated, and that's it. You come back to it and we roast it and it's done. So we've been standing here for 24 hours, patiently waiting for our pork to finish marinating, didn't even shower or change, and here we are, the pork is ready to go. So you want to put it on a roasting rack, line the bottom with foil, please, or you're gonna have a heck of a time cleaning it, and on a rack so the whole piece gets nicely roasted. Now before I put it in the oven, I'm going to make a glaze. So I've just got here some honey. To the honey, I'm gonna add just a little bit of that red juice from the red bean curd, just so I can get a little extra color on it as I glaze it over the pork. Some people like to use the leftover marinade from the pork as part of the glaze, which you can do, but if you're gonna do that, just heat the leftover marinade in the microwave until it's boiling to cook off any raw pork juices in there before you use it as the glaze. All right? Okay, so the oven is heated now at 400 degrees because Adam doesn't have convection oven. But if you have a convection oven, you can do it at 375 degrees. And it's first gonna go in for 15 minutes. Woo! So it's been in the oven for about 15 minutes and it's not done yet, but we're gonna put the glaze on so that it will be shiny and beautiful and well caramelized, because honey will caramelize a lot better than no honey on the pork. So just, ooh, a nice glaze on top. Don't worry about the bottom side. So I'm gonna put this back in and I'm gonna bring it out now every 5 to 7 minutes to re-glaze. So I'm gonna let this glaze dry and then come back and glaze it again. Hopefully we'll get 2-3 layers of glaze on, basically until the pork is done. To prevent the smoke alarm from going off, I'm going to put a little bit of water underneath so that the drippage does not burn and smoke. You can do this from the very beginning as well. I just forgot. Look how glorious these pieces of pork look. So these have had 3 glazes and they have rested, and you definitely want to rest it at least 10 minutes. I would even do 15 before you slice into it. The bigger the piece of meat, the longer it needs to rest before you slice it, okay? So now, the reveal. Yep. Moment of truth right here. Oh, and the end piece is the best. Ah! And look how juicy it still is. Oh, yes. And thinner pieces than what I just did would be more traditional. Ah! Can't wait. The smell of that 5 spice, that is so iconic of Char Siu. And I just love seeing how juicy this is, because a lot of times when you buy Char Siu, it's very dry. Like, that's like the biggest thing that happens a lot. Juicy, flavorful, sweet and salty. Just exactly what you would want in a Char Siu. And if you have like a barbecue grill, get some nice smoky, like real smoky char on it, it'll be even more authentic. I'm just doing a home indoor oven version of it. So as you can see, it is so easy, really straightforward. So I really hope you give this a try. The recipe, as always, will be on paiskitchen.com. When you make it, I want to see a photo, so tag me on Instagram at hotthaikitchen.com or on Twitter or Facebook. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, make sure you do so you don't miss an episode. And click the little bell icon as well so you get a notification when I post a new video. If you love the show and you want to support us, check out our Patreon link in the description box below. And I will see you next time for your next delicious adventure.